even trading, etc., can be made simpler. And you can estimate. See, I'll give you a simple example of a demand and supply situation. Okay. Suppose I say, I'm selling my glasses, guys. Who wants to buy? Okay. None of you will talk. Now, Satyanarayana sir will say, oh my God, poor ma'am. I have called her and her, speech. What will she do? So Satyanarayana sir, ma'am, I'll give you 100 rupees, he'll say. Okay. Now, Sirappa sir is also my friend. He'll say, oh, Satyanarayana also has said, ma'am, I'll give you 200, he'll say. Okay. Then one of you for a joke will say, ma'am, 10 rupees, you'll say. Okay. So I have three offers. 10 rupees, more than that is 100, more than that is 200. Now, how much demand is there? About 3 demand. Demand equal to 3. Supply, only 1. So I can decide, because there's only one supply, I'm a monopoly, I can decide whom I have to sell to. And I will naturally decide to give it to Sirappa sir because he offered me 200 rupees, which is the highest and I want. Okay. So price is determined by supply and demand. Now I have 5 glasses, 5 pair of these glasses to sell. Supply equal to 5. And then 3 of you said you want. So then you'll say, she has, you can bargain with me because supply is more and demand is less. Now suppose, so the price will be determined by y'all. Now another thing is, suppose I say my glasses and nobody says anything, even Satyanarayana sir not going to offer me anything, nobody is offering me anything, then there is no demand. When there is no demand, the price of this is 0. Okay, nobody wants it, so the price of this is 0 and there is no demand. All right. So this is a simple demonstration for you to understand what is how price and demand works and how the same things are copied. For example, demand equal to 3. Do this, make the price so much. Demand equal to 10, make the price that much. So this much you can say, and automatically artificial intelligence can tell you what is the price you can fix in for your product according to the supply and demand. You have to only feed in. All right. I'll give you one small example of the financial sector. You know the current ratio, no? Current ratio is current assets by current liabilities. Current ratio, imagine, is 1:1. All right, 1:1, which means for every liability you need to pay or every rupee you need to pay, you have 1 rupee kept. I repeat, current ratio is 1:1, means you have 1 rupee to pay for 1 rupee current assets, you have to pay for 1 rupee current liability. Okay. Now, what is conservative? Conservative view, you keep 2 rupees ready to pay for 1 rupee liability. What is, risky? Very risky. You keep 50 paisa to pay for 1 rupee. And what is moderate? 1 rupee for 1 rupee. So this I have given you a kind of algorithm or an equation. Okay. 2:1 conservative. 1:1 moderate. 1/2:1 risky. So you have to put this in the artificial intelligence. And when you say, this is the decision making in the machine. Similarly, come to HR. We will go ahead. Just now I'm coming to HR. So this one, see, I gave you this Siri example already. So we'll go ahead. Strong artificial systems. For example, I told you already, I said fire. Fire means a robot. For example, when the heat sensors say above 50 degrees, above 60 degrees, which is cannot be a temperature. Our temperature can maximum be 40, 45 maybe. Above that, it is definitely caused because of this thing. So when they get say 60 degrees, they will the machine is told to dial 101, like that. So there are some concerns which I have already told, will not go into this. Let us come into, okay, we have human employment and automation. But I don't know whether this is necessary. When, if I have time last, I'll come back. Let me go on and talk about recruitment and selection. Okay? No, excuse me. What is recruitment? Recruitment is the process of employing new people to work for a company. What are the sources we have? See, when I was studying, I was taught external sources, that is, people outside. You give a newspaper ad, or in the radio, or in the TV, and then people will advertise, write to you. And internal sources, that is, people who are already there, they want promotion, or people's children who have graduated, or employee referrals, all such things. Today, class, there is no meaning in saying external and internal sources. I mean, you can say, but no meaning. Today, internet is our source. The world is your oyster. You're not in a frog in a well attitude. Anyone, see, India is so powerful and such a superpower that you have several foreigners working for Indian companies in Bangalore. So anyone, if you can get, say, somebody, I'll tell you one example. See, by the way, I'm writing my book is complete on operations research. If you like my talk, remember to buy my book, Operations Research. I've made it very easy. Now, my younger sister is a professor in Bahrain, and she's writing children's books she wants to write. So my brother's in Singapore. He got her a contact from a country called Ukraine. Ukraine is a broken off country from the USSR. When USSR had, United USSR broke off in 1989-90. That time it broke off into 13 countries. Ukraine is one of them. So there is an artist, a girl from Ukraine, who does the pictures for my sister's book, and it is so nicely done. Very nice. Today, if I want, my publisher has told me that that they can supply my book internationally. I have students from all over the world. I have students from Afghanistan, Iran, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan, Madagascar, Kenya, Nigeria, Ethiopia, Namibia, and many, many countries. Okay, Nepal, Bangladesh, lot of countries. So my students were telling me, ma'am, please make it available on Kindle in Amazon so that we can buy the soft version. So you see, today we are not at all talking about external and internal sources. We are talking about the world resources. So I may want to recruit an engineer or an MBA or a simple graduate from Turkmenistan. I have a student from Turkmenistan and she speaks Hindi. So her name is Lily Alexandrovna. So I asked her, Lily, how do you speak Hindi? She says, ma'am, she says in Hindi, my graduation is MA in Hindi. How many of us Indians have MAs in Hindi? So you see how India is popular all over the world. Okay, so they are interested to come and work in India. And believe me, their work ethics also are very good. I'm not saying our Indians' work ethics are bad. I'm not at all saying that. But their work ethics also are very good. You must have seen in our movies how many foreigners are, you see these extra dancers and all, no? So many of them are Westerners. So I just want to tell you, you can take anybody from anywhere. Why am I telling you this? Because we are swimming in a lake of data. And can you swim in a lake for long? You will get tired. You need a machine. You need something on your shoulder, a motor on your shoulder to push you through the water. And that is artificial intelligence. Now, let us look at the definition of selection. The action or fact of carefully choosing someone or something as being the best and most suitable. How will you find out the best? Simple. Imagine you have a financial analyst job. This financial analyst job is based on, imagine, ratios. You have a computer software where the person has to just put in the figures found in the balance sheet of companies, and the software will throw up whether it is credit worthy or not. And the person has only to write the report. Even then, for a financial analyst, they would want someone with 80% and above, marks in MCOM. Imagine. So simple. The algorithm is, there are so many people. There are 1 lakh people whom in the database. Throw up only those. Make a file for me of only those people who have 80% and above. Now, many people in Bangalore, they don't want to leave Bangalore. Bangalore is such a beautiful city, so comfortable, everything. It's like, it's the New York of India. So nobody in Bangalore wants to go anywhere abroad. They want to stay in Bangalore. They find nothing better in other places than there is in Bangalore. For example, I'm just saying, Bangalore is Karnataka. Davangere also is Karnataka. So we are all Kannadigas. So what happens is, suppose I want to say, find out we know for sure that anywhere in Karnataka, people will be willing to come to Bangalore, but may not be to Mumbai. So we say the first filter we put is 80%. We have 1 lakh people, MCOM graduates, and first filter was 80% and above. So we got one file. Next, I will say, I want to give this job to a Kannadiga because I want them to know the vernacular language. Every Kannadiga knows Kannada, 100%, English, 100%, a smattering of Hindi, a little bit of Telugu, a little bit of Tamil, a little bit of Malayalam. Everybody knows. So I want vernacular languages and I want excellent Kannada because my customers are all mostly speaking Kannada. So next filter would be 80% within Karnataka. Okay. So again, it will filter. Okay. Then if you have any other, then look for maths. In maths, maybe there's a commercial maths in MCOM. In maths, statistics and operations research must have 60% and above, another filter. So this is how another algorithm, step. So this is how artificial intelligence help us in selecting a candidate. Okay, next please. 1 lakh people are there. How many days you will require to screen the candidates physically? Quite a lot of time, isn't it? But with artificial intelligence, what happens? You'll get it in a matter of seconds. All right? Imagine. So screening resumes efficiently and time effectively. So see, there is one more thing, we call it selection, another nice word. I think it's the same thing. Talent management and talent acquisition. Talent acquisition. See, today, your grandfather must have been wearing the same watch for 40 years and he was proudly telling you, see, this is my watch, I've been wearing it for 40 years. But you, my friends, today have at least 6 watches, if not 2 or 4 or 5. I had just one watch. My daddy gave me in the 9th standard. I wore it all through till I finished my MBA. And I was proud. I was saying, Daddy gave me in 9th standard, I'm still wearing the watch. Only when I got married, they make you wear new things. So I had to forgo my watch because I got a new watch. And my husband was very particular. I got, a Rado watch for you, you wear it. Okay. So something like this. So the attitude and mind is different. What my grandfather was proud of, I'm not proud of today. I am proud of having 6 watches, not me. I'm saying the younger generation. Many people want, if you wear a pink dress, you want a pink looking watch, which will match your this thing. It shouldn't look like match your dress. It shouldn't look like a watch. It should look like a decoration. You may not even want a watch because your phone does everything for you. Why do you want a camera today? Why do you want a alarm clock today? Why do you want a clock at all? Why do you want so many things? Why do you want a music system? Your phone does it all. If I say, hey Siri, play something for me. Siri, play Sunday morning. See? Do I need a music system? Stop. Siri, stop it. Do I need a music system? Do I need a camera? I want to take a picture. Everything is there. So as we go this one, but in talent acquisition, what happens is you have to retain. See, they say in customer retention, in customer attraction, attracting a customer is 6 times more costlier than retaining a customer. Imagine you took a person for a particular management job, and then what happens is the person, after 3 months of training, you spend 2 lakhs on the training, and that person says, I found another job with 1000 rupees more. That person is going. So your money has gone waste. Your effort has gone waste. See, there is one interesting thing. In some jobs, you give people jobs so that they will leave and go. Okay, you want people to leave and go. It seems when some years ago, I think it still happens, they will take highly qualified people, like say IIMs or IIMs MBAs, and they don't want them for more than 2 years. What they do is, see, the first 2 years, you're willing to work very hard, you're willing to prove yourself. So, very big companies, like, let me not name them, very big, strong companies in our country take the IIM graduates to work for 2 years. Okay, for 2 years, the fresh mind, the fresh, enthusiasm is used by the company in good ways. At the end of 2 years, they post them to Assam, they post them to some corner of India where you do not get, children cannot have education, your wife cannot stay maybe, or your husband will have difficulty. Why? Because they want them to leave and go. The MBAs or the IIM graduates, they will have a certificate of working for a very good company for 2 years. Say Raymond's, 2 years they have worked. So anyone will take them. If they are in Mumbai, anyone other they can go and join in Mumbai. So it is the company's strategy to not continue these people. They'll take fresh people. So sometimes you take people to retain them. Sometimes you take people to not retain them. So your strategies, according to your strategies, you can do your selection. You may select IIMBs, give them a good salary for 2 years. After 2 years, I tell Cherrapunji, where it rains, heaviest rainfall in India, in the world, is in Cherrapunji. So if you send them to Cherrapunji, they'll definitely not go there because they are IIMs, as they've been in Mumbai for 2 years. So they will definitely leave, and the company wants them to leave. So depending on your strategy, you must acquire talent, and this is possible by the filters you put in this one, in artificial intelligence. Now, you want somebody to leave. How will you make out who are going to leave? See, this is a strategy of transferring them is different. Also, you may want to make sure they want to leave. So there are some psychological tests based on, not psychological, tests based on psychology. And these tests will tell you. See, for example, they'll give you a story and they will ask you what should the protagonist do, and you will say, it will, like, I will react in a particular way, each one of us will react in a particular way. So the answers will be there, fed in the system, which says the system will throw up, this fellow is likely to leave the job every 2 years, or this fellow will stay with you forever, this fellow is 50-50, something like this. So that is one thing about taking the talent acquisition. All right. So as I told you, the pool of talent, the pool of from which you recruit is getting bigger and bigger. All right. Next. Ma'am, am I on track, ma'am? Satyanarayana, sir?
Yes, madam. Yes, madam.
Please you can hear me?
Yeah, madam.
Yeah. Are you following, sir? Is it all, everything is fine?
Yes, madam. It's going on.
Another 10 minutes and I give time for questions?
Yes, madam. Nice presentation, madam. Go ahead.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Artificial intelligence, I'm looking at the slide now. For recruiting is the application of AI for us, like problem solving that the computer can do for the recruitment function. Like I said, filters. You have a master database of say lakh of people. So you put in filters and you came down to 20 people. Now for these 20 people, you're going to give psychology tests based on psychology, so that you look at the aptitude of the person, the attitude of the person, everything. Okay. So, and see, these things are repetitive and high volume. High volume means so many times, such a big amount of data lakes. See, software that applies machine learning to resumes, to auto screens candidates, or software that conducts sentiment analysis on job descriptions to identify potentially biased language. See, sometimes the way people talk, the way people see, as I talk, you can see me do like this or smile or something. Some people do not. It depends on the culture. All right. If you see the Chinese and the Japanese, you can't see any expression on their face. If the Japanese do like this, it seems they're telling you, see, when I do like this, you'll say, ma'am is saying yes. But if the Japanese done like this, they're saying, I'm listening to you. They're not saying yes. I'm listening to you. All right. Don't, if you're in a business deal or negotiation with a Japanese fellow and then he does like this, don't say he agreed to me. It will be wrong. Okay. So something like this, this is human tendency, which the machines don't have. That is the beauty of the machine. The machine doesn't have sympathy and compassion. It will just do rational analysis. See, we go for NAC assessment. In NAC, there is out of 100, 70% is based on the SSR, the report that the college gives. Okay. Now the 30% is qualitative, that depends on the persons who are going for the NAC assessment. Now this 70% is calculated by computers, artificial intelligence, and the marks are given by the system based on the report you submit. NAC has so made it that whatever you give, your tables and all that, the computer calculates and gives you the marks. 30% is based on NAC assessors. People go there, 3 people are sent to the college, they will assess the college and they will give the marks. Now, suppose you're not happy with the NAC, what the report you're given. Suppose you got B plus and you wanted A, or you got A and you wanted A plus. There is A plus plus also. So you got A, you wanted A plus, you thought my organization deserves it, and you go for appeal. The appeal will be only for the qualitative stuff, 30%. The appeal will not be for the quantitative stuff. Why? The machine has already done its job. The machine, even if you put it again, the machine is not going to change. It is only humans who can change and say, maybe I didn't do a good job, I'll give you better or I'll give you worse. All right. But the machine, so in NAC, the 70% doesn't change at all because it is done by machine, and machine will not change its opinion. It will take the facts 60 by 100, 60% of 100. It cannot be 59, it cannot be 61 for the machine. But for a human being, 59 man will make it 60 is possible. So that is why the machines are so pakka. This is how I just want to explain how it happens. Wait, what happened? Okay. Once again, I'm getting this. Recruiters and agents have been using artificial intelligence for years. For example, using it's called ATS, Applicant Tracking System. We'll go ahead. I have something interesting to tell you. There are some people and some companies who have made softwares which are used. Let me give you an example of that because I think I'm running out of time. 11:40. Even if there is time, I can come back and tell you these slides. See, there is a Utah is in the US based company HireVue, which has an interview video platform. Okay, so this artificial intelligence looks at you, and you have made your face now. How you're going to make your face? See, imagine I'm a senior person asking a junior person a question. What is the face that the junior makes? Like that, which means you have disrespect for seniors. The machine can recognize. Machine is given photographs of how people do faces. If you are a pleasant face, you don't change your face, then the machine knows what is the meaning of respect, what can you expect. And then see, basically, I like to tell my students, guys, to become a good employee, it is basically important to become a good person. What is a good person? Positive attitude, no negative attitude like even if I do something, what will happen? Things will not change. System is not going to change. Not like this. Saying, I will do best where I am. I'm a small cog in a big wheel, but without me, the wheel may not turn. And I will be a good cog in the big wheel. Other cogs may fall, but I will not fall. I'll keep the wheel intact. This should be your attitude. And this means a good person, willing to work honestly. So, see Unilever. You see here facial movements here. You see this. The algorithm is used to analyze how individual candidates answers pre-selected questions in a recorded video interview. Everything what you do, whether you look down, how you sit. See, basically for an interview, no, if I'm teaching, if I'm this, you'll say, oh, ma'am is relaxing. And like, my whole, the way I am, will say, ma'am is relaxing, not interested in teaching. You can see me too much in front. You'll say, oh, looks as if ma'am is nervous. But if I'm sitting normally, without relaxing or without being nervous, you'll say, okay, fine, you don't even think about it. You're just listening to me. Okay, so every posture, everything matters. If I keep on doing like this, I'm bored. If I keep on touching my face, you'll get irritated. So every gesture, every posture gives a meaning of an attitude. Also, your aptitude for work, it gives a sense signals. So these signals have to be, excuse me, these signals have to be translated into some kind of material. Excuse me. Okay, let's go on to the next slide. You look at this. This is an output of an artificial system from Google Vision, performing facial recognition of the photograph of a man. See, you see those dots on the lips. See, 3 dots are there. Suppose the lips are smiling, the dots will go farther away. You understand? When you're angry, your nose will become big. So the distance between this part of the nose and this part of the nose signifies something. Suppose you're irritated and you'll do like this, eyes will close. Then the distance between your upper lid and the eyelid will signify something. If you're surprised, you'll do like this. Your iris will become big, your pupil will become big. So everything, you can see the dots there. If I do like this, my eyebrows are going up. I'm surprised. I'm angry. See, angry is a different expression. The height of the eyebrows going, the distance between the eye and the eyebrow, it signifies something. You're angry, you're surprised, you're not showing any reaction, indifference. You're supposed to be surprised. That's good. You're getting angry isn't good. Indifference, not good at all. You're not going to be a good worker for me. Right? Doesn't matter if you're a departmental store. I've given you a job as a departmental store assistant. Even if the departmental store catches fire, you're not bothered. Indifferent. Do you want somebody like that? See, there is a platform called Arya. Using machine learning, how you see it can capture data from Facebook, LinkedIn, etc., and you can offer them jobs. Yeah. See, Arya claims it's even able to predict whether an employee is, willing to leave their old job and take a new one. Based on the data it finds about the candidates, about the movements between previous roles and industries, and the predicted fit of a new job and profile. Okay, predictor. So these things are there through artificial intelligence. See, another use of artificial intelligence is to screen through application materials, resumes, assessment. See, Somen Mondal, the CEO, I'm in a session. The CEO and founder of one such screening and matching service, he says, see, I think you understood. Basically, as I told you, the face tells you if you are watching a video interview, the artificial intelligence system can tell you what the aptitude of a person, and also the way you have moved from company to company. It will tell you whether this person is going to move again. What is you must have done this trend analysis, no, where we put 5 years sales figures. Based on that, we do y is equal to a plus bx, and we compute by means of least squares. We forecast the sales for the next 2 years. Comfortably, we can forecast. Similarly, you can forecast the movement of a person, whether he's going to stay with you or not. If he's not going to stay with you, how much of money are you going to spend on him? If he's someone whom you want him to stay, how much money are you going to spend on him? Do you want someone to stay for more than 2 years? Do you want someone to stay for 6 years? Maybe you're a sales company, you're doing basically sales, and you want only youngsters to work for you. Then you don't want people to stay for more than 4 or 5 years. Then you are looking for some such people only. All right. Next. Yeah. Job selection, finding personality assessments, all this. I think there is something called Cognitive and Pymetrics is a company. You just look through this. It is no use for me to tell you. What I need to tell you is different. So benefits of artificial intelligence of using AI is saving recruiters' tasks by automating high volume tasks that you know, and improving the quality of hired personnel. See, you may miss some qualities when you go through when you go through the same things again and again. We used to scrutinize applications for MBA, and after sleeping also I used to see pink applications in my dream. So sometimes you keep on seeing those applications. After 2 or 3 days, you miss the good points. So, but the machine doesn't miss, because machine doesn't get tired. Okay. But the challenges is that challenges of applying session alidini. The challenges of applying artificial intelligence is it requires a lot of data. It can learn from human biases. Like if you have a bias and you don't want to have it, then you can record it and put it in the machine. Then the skepticism of new technology, like I told you, there might be, excuse me, there might be a situation where machines will replicate themselves and create machines that you yourself don't know how to create. Machine may create a machine that is better than that machine that you created. Robots can create robots that can do better things than the robots you created, and you are not able to control them. The robot you created can control the further robot because it created the robot. It knows what goes into that. So there is a chance that such a thing happen. We cannot be skeptical. Now prediction refers to the okay. I already spoke out about prediction. Like I told you, when there is a project and who are the people there, and according to what people you require, you do human resource mapping. This is basically prediction, and a prediction of how people are going to stay with you, whether they are not going to stay with you, whether this person's character is like this, whether he's always fighting, whether he's a team player, whether all this is prediction. Okay, so analytics data or insights gained from analytics create data-driven content. So not only that, you have hired a person, but you have a second line of defense in case this person leaves. What is the second line of defense? Everything you have. Most of this, I don't want to simply read the slides. This is, you can read anytime. Okay. And then it has value naturally, isn't it? What you can do in 10 days, it can do in 5 minutes or 10 seconds flat. Okay. Marketers use, you can discover new insights, what you did not know. See, once I gave a questionnaire online, okay, and I had given some questions, but then when people answered, I left some place, give your opinion. When people answered, I found that my questionnaire was highly inadequate. There were so many more insights that people all over India had to give me that I was very surprised, and I could learn more. So you discover more insights. My paper that I had made became a much better paper only because people who reacted at the last, I had given 3 lines, said anything you want to add, and people added so much of content. My paper, that paper got best paper award in one of the colleges just because people gave me more insights than what I already knew or what I read. Practical people in the field, they gave me insights. Okay, you can make predictions. That is this one, and unify your data. Okay, I think, sir, I'm winding up now. I have only 10 minutes. Any questions, please?
Yeah. Some questions are there in the chat box, madam.
I should see.
1 minute.
Where's the chat box?
Ma'am, can you suggest me any software for the resume screening?
Pardon?
Ma'am, can you suggest any software for resume screening?
See, actually, I'm not an HR person as such, and neither am I an IT. There are a lot of software, sir. If you see my last few slides, you will get some. There's one guy called Somen Mundal. Okay, look through the internet. Are you someone? Are you a recruiter? Hello.
Faculty, I think faculty.
If you see, I currently don't have an answer for you. But if you want, you give me, talk to Satyanarayana, sir, and I will find out and tell you. Okay? I'm not in that field, I can find out and tell. You tell me for recruiting for what, how much, your exact needs you tell me. Accordingly, I will find out from in Bangalore what kind of software will suit you, and I will share it with you. Promise.
One more question from Arvind Punar, madam. What is theory of mind? Explain with example, madam.
I think I've explained.
Explained, I think so. Yeah.
Theory of mind, I think I went into machines where better machines than before are made. And I gave you the example of time machine. Time traveling machine.
Arvind Punar.
It is just one, it is a, see sir, everything from weak artificial intelligence systems, you go to stronger artificial intelligence systems. The benchmark that you had for the base one, I gave you 4, started from machine learning. So what you had benchmarks for machine learning doesn't work for theory of mind. So new benchmarks, new technology, it's just a sophistication as it goes. You can't just classify it as one thing, you know. See, when you go from class 1 to class 2, complete classification you cannot do. It is just a sophistication. The machines developing artificial intelligence from weak intelligence to artificial intelligence to stronger. The level of sophistication. One of this is theory of mind. The third one.
Yeah. So Vijay C, the question from him. My question is: any specific artificial intelligence algorithm to catch the fraud in the financial industry?
Yeah, I gave you, no, sir. Like I gave you the example of this one, how they play. SEBI will catch you when there is fraudulent activity. I told you, no, all of us will get together and we will say, I want to sell shares of a company. So I'll tell all of you, please start buying a few shares, man, 10, 50 shares, something like that. You can sell them afterwards. So within 2 hours, 100 of us have bought the shares. So 100 transaction of one particular company is a fraudulent thing, no? It throws up. That is the example. Also, large amount of money deposits, you know, large amount of money deposits. Unless you're a person who gets, you know, regularly you deposit, you're a big businessman. If someone else deposits, then you become alert, no? All these are artificial intelligence systems. Especially in the stock exchange, it is required.
Ma'am, one more question from Biswadeep Roy. What will be the role of HR managers going ahead, as artificial intelligence is going to do most of the jobs they do now?
So last part of the question.
Last part of the question. What will be?
Yeah, I heard 1 minute. What is the role of HR managers as artificial intelligence is
going to do most jobs, most of the jobs, madam? That the men will be replaced by machines now. Then what?
Artificial HR managers have to be tech savvy. That's all I can say. You have to have, see, you're working for large organizations. You have to be tech savvy. What is HRIS? Information systems you should know. And be savvy with all these systems. There are softwares which can guide you, but you should be tech savvy. It's very important for HR managers to be tech savvy.
Any questions, please, from audience side? No questions. We'll wind up.
So, did you like the talk?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. So you are getting feedback now itself. Very informative session. Nice session. That and all.
Okay, so I'm glad. I just wanted to be useful for the participants.
Yes, ma'am. Ma'am, one more question from Punit Kumar DG. What is the role of artificial intelligence in training and performance appraisal?
Performance appraisal, definitely, sir. All this, you know, see, artificial intelligence provides you the metrics, measurement, whether they have done properly. Like you mark your examination answer papers now. Like that, for performance appraisal also, you can use artificial intelligence. You can do 360-degree appraisals. All the time you can do appraisals. You can make them do self-appraisals. When you do self-appraisals, you say, no, what you did during the day, what job you did, as what role you did. Did you do as a team manager? Did you do as a team player? Which team you joined? What job you did? when they do self-appraisals, automatically the data is gleaned. You need data basically, right? Data is gleaned by the system, and self-appraisals can be done. Same thing with training. They will give you a questionnaire at the end before the training and find out where you need to be trained. And the same similar questionnaire after training to find out whether the training is useful. So their artificial intelligence will throw up the faults, will throw up the, good things and the bad things, both things, whether there's a deviation. When there's a positive deviation, you have to find out that you have done a benchmark and you have to follow it. Why you did well, you have to find out so that you can do better next time and follow the same principles. Suppose you have not done well, then again it will throw up how you have not done well, what is the cause, you have to find out and repair it. So this way it helps in training and performance appraisals. But basically it's all based on data. So remember to feed in the data. Without data, how can it be? Machines can't feel you or see you. Exactly. Machines can understand only data that is fed.
Madam, I am Dr. Srinivasan from Pondicherry. Hello.
Yes, sir.
You have given a very good presentation on HR finance aspects with regard to artificial intelligence.
Okay,
It's a new area, unlearned and learned. Excellent area. You have described very well. One more question, madam. Hello.
Yes, I'm listening, sir.
Human resource accounting practices are adopted by Neyveli Lignite Corporation and ONGC. There are a lot of methods available, replacement cost method, etc. I think once the artificial intelligence is introduced, the methods or practices followed by the companies may be obsolete, or that may be continued, or take over by artificial intelligence.
See, sir, there are some things that have to be done. Double entry system and all that. For that, what systems we have, we can update, but we cannot do away with them. You have to do debit and credit. Double entry you have to do.
Okay.
So those systems, you can update them. You can make them faster, maybe make your software faster. And then what you can do is, instead of using so many 20 windows, you can make it integrated system, so that in, like, you have ERP systems, no? When you take ERP systems, you can have one board. Say, for example, I'll give you the example. You bought, you did some cash sales or credit sales, we'll say. You have done credit sales. Where all should it go? It should go into your
data's ledger.
Yeah, all the ledgers. So if you can only do in one ledger and automatically everywhere it fits in, then you have an integrated system. You don't have to use open one window for this ledger, open one window for that ledger, all that. So like that you can enhance the systems. But basic what you have to do, debit and credit, you have to do. No?
Okay. Thank you.
So there it will not be. But obsolete is, new technology, faster systems. There it will be obsolete. Everywhere.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Most welcome, sir.
Is there any questions from audience participants? No.
I hope everyone benefited from my session. Yes. As a teacher, that is what all of us teachers expect, that our students learn from.